In the headlines, 7 PDP states discontinue suit against federal government challenging declaration of Tinubu as president-elect. APC Presidential Campaign Council dares PDP LP to challenge elections in court. Supreme Court extends validity of old Naira notes as legal tender till December. And on the foreign scene, Governor, 5 others shot dead in latest attack on Philippine politicians. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. We begin with politics, where 7 states under the People's Democratic Party, which filed a suit against the federal government at the Supreme Court, challenging the declaration of the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president-elect, have discontinued the suit. These states are Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, Taraba and Sokoto. The notice of discontinuance was signed by their lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Mike Ezekome, in the earlier suit, which had the Attorneys General of the states as plaintiffs and the Attorney General of the Federation as a defendant. The 7 states had asked the Supreme Court to intervene in the just concluded general elections, as they claimed that the declaration of Tinubu did not follow the Electoral Act and INEC's own laid-down guidelines, particularly the uploading of results to the IREV through the Bimodal Accreditation System, BVAS. They also expressed fear of a probable breakdown of public order and civil disobedience. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council says the party and its candidate are ready to meet the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party in court over the outcome of Saturday's presidential election. Director of Strategic Communication of the Campaign Council, Dele Alake, said this during a media briefing in Abuja. Alake is responding to allegations and claims by the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party's Peter Obi that the election was a fraud. Noel Sampson, who was present at the media briefing, has more.
PDP went into this election without its limbs and lied to itself that it could win the race.
Dele Alake described the allegations made by the 2 co-contestants as false, as the elections which brought in their candidates was free and fair. He said APC will defend the mandate freely given to its candidate by Nigerian voters.
Let us say unequivocally that we welcome the decision of both the PDP and the LP and also the NNP candidates to test their claims, as ridiculous as these claims are, in the court of law as provided for by our Constitution. This is without prejudice to the conciliatory efforts of the President-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode and spokesperson APC Presidential Campaign Council Festus Keyamo both labeled the 2 presidential candidates as mischievous.
They lined up the people, accredited them, and told them to go home, and then began to thumbprint for them to meet that number accredited, all LP, and put them in the ballot box. That is just to tell you the kind of rigging machine that Peter Obi carried out. We are also going to be filing a cross petition to cancel the votes of Labour Party in virtually almost all the states in the southeast.
This mandate was given by 8 million Nigerian citizens, born free, freely gave their, almost 9, freely gave their mandate. Are we to be pushed around? Are we to be told that we're insignificant? Are we not Nigerians as well? We will go to court. We will defeat them in court. We will defend our mandate, and they must not incite. We know where this is all heading. We will not allow it to happen. There will be no June 12th. This election will stand. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be the president of the Nigeria for the next 4 to 8 years by God's grace.
The APC Presidential Campaign Council then assured its supporters of winning the case in court. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And 8 days after the presidential election, the debate on its fairness and credibility is still raging. Kabir Lawal speaks to Abuja residents on their assessment of the election.
Until the drama at the International Conference Center, Abuja, venue of collation of Saturday's presidential election, many Nigerians believe the conduct was relatively peaceful and credible. A cross-section of voters in Abuja explained that the election was free and fair, as areas seen as strongholds were won by the opposition parties. They call on the president-elect to approach governance on conciliatory grounds and carry people along.
All the same, he has been declared winner. What do we need to do? All we need to do is to pray for him, for the success of Nigeria. If it is good for him, good for the country, it's good for all of us. And that's something I have noticed right from time. We always keep on complaining that the past leader is better than the present leader. So this is right from the military era. Then what do we need to do? Let us go back to God.
As a citizen, we are supposed to vote. The only thing I would say to Nigerians is that even if there is an election again, let's just endeavor to vote. There is no harm in trying. As we have devoted our time to work for the peace of this nation, let's just continue like this. One day, someday, God may hear our prayer.
Others called on government to improve on the electoral processes by imploring the Independent National Electoral Commission to ensure upload of election results to its server on time.
It's not what Nigeria expected that they see. Because anybody that tell you that they are fine or is okay, that person is either afraid or is lying. But the truth is that it's not what we expected and we saw. So it has come and go. We can't kill ourselves. Life goes on. I think you understand. So that's from my side.
The road to excellency means that you must follow an excellent way. Gone are the days that we should do anything anyhow because of our unborn children. And we are growing old, and we should leave a legacy for all the coming ones to tell them that our year is our year, our no is our no.
APC candidate Bola Tinubu was declared winner of the February 25th presidential election. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And following the growing tension that trailed the declaration of the presidential candidate of the APC as winner, a northern group in Kaduna says the unity of the country is sacrosanct, and individuals or groups who want to express grievances must do so through legal means devoid of division and chaos. Bello Musa reports.
The leading political parties in the election, PDP and Labour Party, rejected the outcome of the presidential election, faulting INEC for not transmitting results via electronic means. This led to protests in some parts of the country, including Kaduna, by supporters of the affected candidates and parties. Looking at the fragile nature of Kaduna State and the country at large, the group advised youth to shun anything capable of disrupting peace and unity in the country.
Instead of creating tensions, causing disaffection among Nigerians across tribal and political divides, we call on those who feel aggrieved to approach the law court, following the lay-down procedure and lodge their case. There are procedures. If you are not satisfied with the outcome of the 2023 general election, follow the normal procedure. Stop sponsoring people to protest across the nation. That will only aggravate the existing tension in the nation. Already, we are witness to the effect of Naira redesign and some harsh economic policy that has affected our people in northern Nigeria. We are not ready to accept any other thing other than the president-elect should be allowed to go ahead with the transition process.
The group also applauded INEC for the success recorded in the election and charged the commission to improve on the subsequent elections.
About 7 serving governors lost their senatorial election. This is first of its kind in the history of Nigeria. This is the first time a ruling party is lost election in Yobe State. This is the first time a political party without structure unseat all city members, House of Rep and Senator in a particular region of the nation.
The group said Nigerians have displayed maturity during the election by conducting themselves in a peaceful manner, adding that Nigeria's unity must be maintained at all costs. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
And now to the Naira redesign policy. The Supreme Court on Friday ordered the circulation of old Naira notes alongside the new ones until December 31st this year. In its unanimous judgment, the Apex Court held that the notice for the implementation of the new currency swap is grossly inadequate, pushing Nigerians into unintended hardship. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
Listed 3 issues for determination: contending issue of jurisdiction, disregard to its interim order, and merit of the suit. Reading the judgment on behalf of the 7-member panel of justices, Justice Emmanuel Agin dismissed preliminary objections by the defendants, affirming that the court has exclusive and original jurisdiction to entertain the matter as it affects states in the federation. It also found the president guilty for disregarding its earlier interim order, just as it decided the suit in favor of the plaintiffs.
The Supreme Court has spoken. We cannot sit in judgment over the Supreme Court. I expect the CBN to comply. I expect the President to comply. We are a nation under law. The Supreme Court has spoken, and we are bound.
That the decision, the Naira design is, as implemented by the federal government, is patently illegal, is unconstitutional, and it is not in line with the spirit of the Constitution. And to that extent, the Supreme Court has spoken that both the old notes and the new notes will be in circulation till 31st of December 2023.
The Apex Court also held that the unilateral decision of the President to implement the policy without consulting critical stakeholders such as National Economic Council, the Council of State amongst others, is inconsistent with the provisions of the law. Governors of Kaduna, Kogi, and Zamfara speak on the judgment.
Today is a day of happiness for all Nigerians. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has given us all the reliefs that we sought for.
We appreciate God and we appreciate the Supreme Court justices. They have proven that this is the place and the hope of all men, not just common man.
It's not about me or about El-Rufai or about Bello. It is about the Nigerians.
With the judgment of the Supreme Court, millions of Nigerians can now heave a sigh of relief as the old Naira notes that are being phased out by the Central Bank of Nigeria can now be reintroduced for transaction to ease the burden and the hardship being experienced across the country. From the Supreme Court here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court order restoring the use of old Naira notes has elicited mixed feelings amongst residents of Katsina, with some entertaining fears that the central bank may not comply with the order, as was the case in the past. Many residents who were on queues when the order was given on Friday said the introduction of the Naira design only created confusion in the country. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports that people were hopeful that the order will ease the hardship the Naira scarcity has caused. His report.
Though the Supreme Court's order allowed continuous circulation of old notes as legal tender till end of December this year, Katsina residents are afraid that the central bank may not release enough old notes into the economy.
I think it's a good idea that the court should allow us to be using the old notes till the end of the year, because we are suffering. Look at, we have money, but it's like useless. We suffer to get the money, but it's of no use to us. We can only see the figures on our phones or when we check the accounts.
So I think this issue of bringing back currency is very important, because it will help people to circulate business, and it will make business to run effectively like the way it's supposed to be.
Even with this ruling, if adequate arrangement was not made, arrangement in the sense that more new Naira note and old Naira note be released for public consumption. And we don't know what is happening between the CBN governor and its commercial banks, because some people are of the view that, or are even alleging that some commercial banks are holding the Naira, new Naira, and they are making it as a business.
These Katsina residents decry hardship the naira scarcity caused, saying many of them passed the night on queues, attributing their difficulties to lack of coordination and implementation of the naira redesign policy by the central bank. To many, the court ruling is a huge relief, though it came late, believing that the only thing that could end people's suffering is making banknotes available.
People are begging. People are even selling their money at the expense of getting new naira note. You give 10,000 naira, you receive 8,000 naira. You give 20,000 naira, you receive 17,000 naira. So we are appealing to the government, please, to look at this issue, to look at how the condition is and come to the rescue of masses. Otherwise, this problem will continue to escalate, which may lead to unrest.
We are very scared because the government will say this today, tomorrow they will come up with another thing. They cancelled the 200 naira note before, and now they bring it back to the circulation, and now they are saying that this. So we don't know whether the government, we are suffering, things are killing. Look at the economy. Businesses are not moving on, and people are, some businesses are even collapsing.
Many small and medium businesses have been suffering since the naira redesign policy. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Kazana.
Stay with us on a Trust TV News Update. Still ahead. We'll take a look at the probe of abduction of high-profile politician. Details of this and more after the break. Stay with us.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure that be? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Or really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now let's recap our top stories. 7 PDP states discontinue suit against federal government challenging declaration of Tinubu as president-elect. And APC Presidential Campaign Council dares PDP LP to challenge election in court. And in other news, 3 persons have died and 3 others injured following multiple auto crashes along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The Ogun State Sector Commander of the FRSC Road Safety Corps confirmed this on Friday in a statement by the Routes Commander and Public Education Officer Florence Okbe in Abeokuta. The injured victims were said to have been taken to a nearby hospital for medical attention, while the corpses were deposited at FOS Morgue, Ikpara. Meanwhile, the Ogun Sector Commander, Ahmed Umar, has commiserated with the families of the crash victims and also pleaded with the public to always drive defensively by anticipating the action of other drivers and observing road signs. And to politics now, where the People's Democratic Party in Kwara State said it may form an alliance ahead of the March 11th governorship elections with other opposition parties in the state to wrestle power from the ruling All Progressives Congress. The state chairman of the party, Babatunde Mohammed, disclosed this during the unveiling of a 5-point agenda by the PDP governorship candidate Shuaib Yaman Abdullahi in Ilorin. The report.
Speaking at the unveiling ceremony in Ilorin, the PDP chairman Babatunde Mohammed said other opposition political parties in the state are united to work together and vote out APC. He then urged members of the party in the state to be friendly with other opposition parties to regain their trust and be able to wrestle power from the APC.
And for close to 4 years now, nothing tangible can be recorded as achievement for the current governor in Kwara State. So by the grace of God, PDP is the party that will rule Kwara State in 2023 to 2027, and we are going to continue. We want to encourage us to be very friendly with members of other political parties apart from APC, because we may likely work together. I don't want to say more than that on this, because what we are saying is what they are saying too, that this governor should not continue. So once we have the same target, I think the best thing for us is to work together for the development of our dear state.
Meanwhile, the people of Obo Ayegunle community in Kwara South have expressed their determination to ensure the re-election of Governor Abdul Razak for second term. In a related development, the traditional ruler of a town in Kwara South Senatorial District commended the state governor for constructing 10 kilometers Osi Obo Ayegunle Road. The traditional ruler said the road will ease traffic burden and encourage transportation of goods to the community with less hardships, adding that the community will repay him with a vote that will secure his second term.
I've been there from my knowledge of history for the last 57 years. It's a record that we had costs to have equipment brought to Ayegunle from contractors who seem to have been awarded the contract. The whole market space there was filled up with equipment, bulldozer, low loader, payloader, call it anything. But overnight, they were all removed and packed out of this place. As God will have it, this new government, under the leadership of His Excellency Abdurrahman Abdul Razak, nobody took him serious. Then they started. We thought they have come for Township Road, so we were looking at them. Everybody was quiet, watching. Then suddenly, they finished the Township Road. Then suddenly, they started facing that direction.
The ruler then called on his wards to come out and vote the person that has their best interests at heart.
Meanwhile, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Gombe State, Muhammad Barde, has alleged that the state governor in Yahaya is plotting to abduct him and 11 other members of the PDP to disrupt the conduct of the March 11th elections. The governorship candidate, who petitioned the governor, filed his complaints to the Nigeria Police and the Department of State Services and urged the security agencies to guarantee their safety. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The PDP governorship candidate in Gombe State, Muhammad Barre, has in his petition accused the Gombe State governor of plotting to abduct him.
We are here specifically to report the plans by Governor Ino Mohammed to abduct myself and other party leaders and associates who are in the party. And we have it on authority that on 25th of March, 25th of February, after the presidential election, a meeting was held at the government house. 12 names were penciled down amongst the party stalwarts and my associates and other candidates in this election and myself to be abducted so that elections will not hold. This is reminiscent of what happened in 2019 elections that so many people are witness to. As law-abiding citizens, we deem it fit to come and write a petition, submit the petition to the Commissioner of Police I came back from Abuja yesterday. I have submitted similar petition to the Inspector General of Police, to the Director General of the SSS, to also the National Security Advisor and the National Intelligence Agency Director General.
There have been a plan to create problem so that we cannot achieve the level of success we have attained in the past. That cannot happen. That's why we are here. We are here because we know that the police commissioner is working and he will listen to us, and he has given us assurance, and come 11th of this month, everything will be in order.
Effort to get the police force to respond in an interview on the governorship candidate accusations against the governor was unfruitful. However, Gombe State government has since denied the allegations, describing the claims as baseless in a statement issued by Director General Press Affairs Ismaila Uba Misili. He called on security operatives to investigate the PDP's claim. Governor Inua Yahya of the APC is contesting for a second term in office and will face 13 other governorship candidates in the March 11th elections in the state. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And now for a look at the foreign scene, where a provincial governor in the central Philippines and 5 other people were shot dead by unknown gunmen on Saturday, according to his widow. Local police said 6 suspects carrying rifles and dressed in uniforms similar to those worn by armed services entered the governor's home in Pamplona town and opened fire. Royal Degamo, governor of Negros Oriental Province, and 5 others were killed in the shooting, according to his widow. President Ferdinand Marcos condemned what he described as the assassination of his political ally and warned the perpetrators to surrender. The politician was distributing aid to constituents when he was shot, provincial police spokesman Kim Lopez told AFP. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe to watch us live on YouTube and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.